let's
Yeah, let's
just
do
jump
it.
into it. Did Lamar Jackson choke? Well, it can't be
Absolutely,
both. It
absolutely
can't
not.
be scripted to be bad, but Lamar Jackson didn't choke because Lamar Jackson 1,000% choked.
I'm sorry. A bad ball is a choke.
20 for 37 is not one bad ball.
20 for 37 is what happens when you're behind. You're going to put the ball up more. They're
Well,
going
hold
to
on.
play the
Wait.
pass.
They're behind, so they didn't run it. But so you're complaining about them running the football and not doing it, but then they're behind, and now you say they have to do it. I just need some consistency. I need
Okay.
some
Okay.
consistency.
So they did not run the ball when they weren't behind and in control of the game and trying to keep the ball out of Patty Mahomes' hands.
Well, they were behind from the opening kickoff.
I, I get it,
They
but
went
you
down
and
the
I
field and
both
scored, so
know
they were behind the entire football game.
if I'm down 3-0, 7-0 with 45 minutes left, come on, man. That's not what I'm
Okay.
talking about. You know he's putting the ball in the air when he's pressing at the end, but why did they stop running the ball when it was still a very viable option?
I
There's
mean,
that.
I can't go along with the whole scripted thing. It's one or
Okay.
the other. It's either he choked or it's scripted. I'll let you decide which one you want to die on. But Lamar Jackson absolutely choked in the football game. 20 for 37. That's pathetic. And if
Okay.
we're going to beat up on Josh Allen, which you definitely beat up on Josh Allen last
Absolutely.
week, didn't make enough plays to win the game. Lamar Jackson didn't even come close to making enough plays to win the game. Didn't even come close.
Man, I don't know. I have a problem with that. So he's extending plays, which you know I hate because they're playing
There
the
you go.
pass. He didn't turn it into hero ball. They really let him down from obviously Zay Flowers, like Buddy's talking about on there, let him down. But I think they let him down from the play calling. And everybody's like, well, he can audible. Well, that's not his forte. He needs to be the best running quarterback, the best dual threat quarterback of all time, and he needs to be Peyton Manning in his later years at being able to being the offensive coordinator. No, Baltimore's OC let them down. And I'm sorry, Odell Beckham is still not a washed up. He's still a viable threat. We didn't take any shots down there with him. We didn't get him involved. We know he's an emotion player. That was
I'm going to say this. If you're relying on throwing Odell Beckham go routes to try to win a football game, that is the definition of desperate. Odell
okay.
Beckham hadn't been open in a year. Okay. He is not he's a number 3 receiver at best right now. Because otherwise they'd have thrown him the football. But they didn't. The guy is number 3 at best. I can't even believe you're saying stuff like this. It's
Okay.
absolutely
Okay.
ridiculous.
So
He is a
he's
bad
got a
receiver.
washed Odell. He's got a washed Odell.
Okay.
Dave Flowers, who's a net case, um, uh, tight end fresh off a break in his ankle, and he choked. Is the narrative right back to last year? Let's get him some weapons.
I mean, I think he had enough weapons. How about instead of dancing around in the pocket back there and dancing and dancing and dancing, you said he needs to be the best dual threat quarterback ever. How about you run the ball every now and then? When instead of dancing, just take off and run. He didn't do that. Are you blaming
Man,
that on the offensive coordinator?
man, these are the same people that said, he's not worth that kind of money because all he is a running quarterback. He's got to show me he can beat him with his arm. And then in the playoffs comes, they play him to pass, right? Right? They play him to pass and beat me with your legs. He would have never beat him with his legs. He would have run out of time, you
Well,
know?
he wouldn't have run out of time. I mean, how many incompletions did he have? I mean, he threw 17 incompletions. How about you run the ball every now and then, just get 5 yards?
He
Run it
threw
again,
seven.
get 7 yards. Because if you keep doing that, eventually you're going to shake loose and go for 40. But he didn't even give himself an opportunity. He just
Hold on.
kept throwing incompletions,
Throwing
overthrowing
Odell deep
receivers.
throwing Odell deep routes is bad offense.
Desperation.
But
There you
hoping
go. Bad offense. That's right.
throwing Odell deep routes is bad offense. But hoping your QB breaks for 40 is good
No,
offense.
I didn't say hope. I said when it's opportunities there, can go run for 5 yards. It's just like a regular running game, Chris. You know that. Run for 3 yards, run for 5 yards. Eventually, you are going to break free. You're going to make a guy miss, and there's not going to be anybody else there to make the tackle. That's what Lamar Jackson does.
Okay.
Instead, he chose not to do that. He chose to stay in the pocket, dance around, and throw incompletions. That's all he did all game
Man,
long.
I'd hate
If
to see
Josh
what the
Allen choked, Lamar Jackson, I mean, he couldn't even breathe. He choked so bad.
Josh Allen threw a bunch of bad balls. Lamar threw one bad ball.
How did I'm just trying? How do you justify one bad ball with 17 incompletions?
Shout out
Tell
to
me
Buddy. Shout out
what
to
are we
Buddy in the
talking about
comments.
here?
Sorry, shout out to Buddy in the comments. He said scrambling is a viable offensive weapon in the NFL.
When
It's
you're
not.
Lamar Jackson, yeah. So, buddy, in the comments, if you're trying to be an offensive coordinator and Lamar Jackson is your quarterback, if scrambling when it's not open isn't viable, you need to rethink that because absolutely it's viable.
When's it enough? When he goes and gets 6 and slides, 7 and slides, everybody's gonna be like, "That's Lamar Jackson. He needs to bust a big one." Now he's putting $400 million bag on the line because we don't have enough weapons. Zay Flowers, Rutledge said it in the comments. Incredible weapon. He's a young kid. He didn't have his head on. But I mean, how many targets you want to give that guy? Where was the Baltimore tight end game? Where was Likely and Andrews?
Well, Andrews is hurt. I mean, you can't say Andrews. I mean, the guy he's coming back, he's had a broken leg.
Caught the
So
first ball of the game. They went away from it.
I mean, the
Well,
guy was hurt. He couldn't even play. I think he only played like 18 snaps. Okay, the guy couldn't play football. He had a broken leg. Let's not put it
okay.
on Mark Andrews or incorporating a guy coming back from an injury that's supposed to keep you out the rest of the year. Let's not put the game plan on him.
I'm not putting it on him. I'm gonna put it on the tight end position because Likely or Lively, I forgot his name already. Uh, came alive at the end of the season. No show. Was
Well,
a no show.
the strength of the Chiefs secondary, which is number 2 in the league, by the way, is the secondary. Maybe they just
Okay.
covered him.
Well, let's see what.
I mean, I
What?
know when they tried to throw it to him in the end zone, he put his hand up like he was Randy Moss, like he was wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't have been more covered if he had a blanket over top of him.
Terrible decision by Lamar to believe him on that one. But this vaunted Chiefs secondary, I think I'm gonna be at your place to watch the Super Bowl. So let me know, please, if Purdy doesn't put up 3 hundo sticks on him.
I mean, I go by what I see. I mean, the Chiefs
Okay.
secondary is one of the best
Okay.
in the league. I mean,
Take the under
there's no
on
doubt
300.
about it.
Take bust, pause, Ali and Yuva, pause. But take the under on 300 for Purdy then with Ayuk and Debo and
They
company.
won't have to do that though, because they'll be able to run the football. They're not going to have to throw it for 300 yards. You know, the Chiefs, while the defense, the secondary is great, they can be run. The football can be run on them, which is again goes back to game plan on why Baltimore didn't run the football or why Lamar Jackson didn't try to run the football.
We got a comment that there was pass interference on the interception. It don't matter. That was triple coverage and a bad ball. Nobody's bailing you out on that.
I don't know who's saying it was pass interference, but
Absurd.
No, stop. That's
Absurd.
just called football. You threw the ball into 3 people, and he shouldn't have thrown it. That's just bad football.
Yeah, I'd like to say that one bad ball is not a choke. He was let down by the offensive coordinator. He was let down by what I thought was the best defense in the league, and then let down by essentially at least a 10-point turnaround by his own wide receiver. I'm calling it like I see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, 17 incompletions is a little bit more than one bad ball. I would be willing to say. And I would be willing to say if you asked Lamar, hey, did you just have one bad ball? And no, he's not going to say that.
No.
17 incompletions say otherwise. So let's just leave it at that. Lamar choked.
He's gonna take
he just choked.
ownership and say he should have played better. You're right.
There you go.
He
choked. He should have played better. Get it done when you're supposed to get it done. How about that? And he didn't.
Okay.
Isn't that the definition of choking?
I mean, I guess.
I'm just asking questions. I'm a fact finder, and to find
great.
facts, you just ask questions. Is
I'll
it
make
the
sure that
definition
every
of choking
player-
not getting it done when you're supposed to get it done?
I'll make sure that every player plays their best every
And if
game.
they don't, you can say they choked. Absolutely right.
Man, better talk to Manning in his Super Bowls.
Choke. Well, he only went to one where he lost. Choked. I mean, choke job. Just it is what it is, people. It is
The
what it
one
is.
where he wait.
Threw an interception at the end of the game to the Saints. That's a choke job.
Okay, how many did he win?
2.
Did
It
he
went to
play his
3.
best
Oh,
on that
and
second one?
against Seattle. That's right. That was a definite. I mean, that was a big time choke job.
Yeah,
So he went to 4.
he played terrible.
Terrible. There you go. Lamar
Okay.
Jackson played terrible. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. There's no defending it. You can't defend the choke job. You either get it. For instance, Patrick Mahomes didn't play great in that football game after the first half. He didn't play great. Hell, they couldn't even move the football in the second half. But guess what happened? At the end of the game, the Chiefs needed a play, and what did he do? He made the throw. That's the difference.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, either you can make the plays or you can't make the plays.
No, you're
Patty
right.
Mahomes, he can make the plays.
Little
Lamar
revisionist
Jackson,
history there. I mean, I
he
get
can't
it.
play. It's not revisionist history. It's just the truth. I mean, it's just what happened. I
Boy,
mean, he made the plays or he didn't make the play.
I tell you what, Buddy is a little heavy on the Lamar glazing now. I get it. He's at the same point that Manning was, but that's enough.
I mean, we're not. I mean, anybody. That's you haven't watched football long enough if you think Lamar Jackson is good as Peyton Manning. We're just going to say that. So
It just takes
let's just say that the
a little more
comments sometimes go crazy, and I love the comments, but they go out of this world ridiculous, and that's a ridiculous statement if you're trying to compare Lamar Jackson to Peyton Manning based on a playoff record. Let's get serious, people. Let's get serious.
All right, we got Gummy Bear in the comments too.
I don't see Gummy Bear. I must be behind.
Rutledge.
Oh, I mean, yeah. We're not doing that. We're not comparing Lamar Jackson to Peyton Manning. We're not doing that. So it is what it is.
Manning was carried on the Broncos. I
His
agree
last
with
Super Bowl, absolutely,
Yeah.
1,000%. But he was also 100 years old at the time. He wasn't 27. He wasn't 28.
Yeah,
So no.
he didn't just
And
get
Lamar
blamed.
Jackson will never do the things that Peyton Manning did in this league. So let's just – I'm not even going to talk about that anymore because that's just ridiculous.